إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا إنه من يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمد عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتون إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. إخوة الإيمان السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
My brothers in Islam, we give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has given us another opportunity to be here today for another Salat al-Jum'ah. Today, being the 22nd day of the only month of Dhu'l-Qi'dah, year 1445 after the hijrah of Prophet Muhammed sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is equivalent to the 31st day of the month of May, year 2024. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept this gathering as an act of ibadah. In continuation with our discussion concerning the acceptance of dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in the Holy Qur'an, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Wa isa salaka ibadi anni, fa inni qaribun, ujibu da'wata da'i idha da'ani, falyastajibu li wa liyu'minu bi la'allahum yarshudun. Sadaqallahu al-azim. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us through the tongue of Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was the Khatimul Anbiya'i wa Imamul Mursaleen, the seal of all the prophets and the leader of all the messengers, that whenever my servants inquire from you, ask after me from you, tell them that I'm closer to them than the level at which they expected. Any point in time, I am with them. And whenever they call me, I will listen to their call. I will grant them their wishes. As far as they believe that the call they have called unto me, I'm going to grant them whatever they desire. But after having that belief, they should continue to be steadfast and to exercise patience. In doing all this, that will have established that they are rightly guided servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah count us among the categories of this set of people. Biqudratillahi ta'ala, we'll be discussing about ahlakul mi'niyya or kayfiyatul dua, the ethics or the etiquettes of how we need to supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to answer our supplications. Number one, the first thing that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged us to be doing is to first of all do what? To perform an ablution. Whenever we intend to go and sit down and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his mercies, for his benevolence, for his favors, the first thing we should do is to perform an ablution, so that we can be in a state of what? Purity. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Inna Allah ta'ala tayyibun, la yakbalu illa tayyiban. Wa inna Allah amara al-mu'minina kama amara al-mursalin. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kulu wa ashrabu min tayyibatikum. Aw mimma razaqnakum min tayyibatikum. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he should tell us that every one of us, we should be pure. We should eat from what is pure, so that from head to toe we are all so going to be what? To be pure. And whatever we use as a purified substance to communicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant us his wishes or our wishes. So the first thing that we need to do to purify ourselves is what? Al-Wudu. And we have various categories of wudu, or various types of what? Wudu. The one for wudu salah is there. The ablution we used to perform to commence what? To commence prayer. The ablution we used to do for Ghusl janaba. The ablution we used to perform for Ghusl janaza, for a funeral bath. We have to perform what? Al-Wudu. We have to perform ablution for the corpse. After meeting your legally married wife, you need to perform what? Ablution, in the process of doing what? Purifying yourself. A person that converts or a revertee into Islam, in the Ghusl Dhu'l Islam that is going to perform, ablution is there. So we are doing all this, we are asked to do all this, we are encouraged to do all this, just to do what? To present ourselves as a pure person, as a pure servant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam encourage us that whenever we want to supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should be in a state of what? Ablution. And hadith from Abu Musa Al'ashiary. Abu Musa Al'ashiary said, Ubayd ibn Hamir also was a servant of Allah, also was a companion of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That when Ubayd ibn Hamir, when he committed a sin, and he wants to what? He wants to supplicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He met to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to intercede for him, Fatawaddu'a Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the first thing he did was that he performed an ablution. He wanted to intercede for who? For Ubayd ibn Hamir. And after the ablution that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam performed, the next thing he did was he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahumma ighfir Ubayd ibn Hamir. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, forgive Ubayd ibn Hamir. The first thing Nabi Muhammad did sallallahu alaihi wasallam was what? Was ablution. So with this, we are also encouraged that we should always be in a state of what? State of ablution before we continue with our supplication or any of our act of ibadah. Kama qala Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Number 2, among the good etiquettes that will lead us to the acceptance of our supplication is to do what? To do ashukru lillah. We should thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his mercy over us. Because being alive is one of the mercy. To be able to lift your hand is one of the mercy. To be able to communicate and people will be able to comprehend whatever you are saying is one of the mercy. You not having money, you not have gotten a building for yourself, you are still renting an apartment, doesn't mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not directly answering your supplication in some various quarters. That you are asking Allah to do this for you at this portion time, but you have not gotten it, doesn't mean that Allah has not been benevolent to you. We should always appreciate Allah. We should always glorify Allah. We should always be thanking Allah. It's part of the reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be answering us whenever we call on to him. Indicating that after performing an ablution, the next thing we need to do is to glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is going to serve as a catalyst to accelerate our istijaba in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us in Qur'an that la in shakartum la azidannakum wa la in kafartum inna azabi lashadid. La in shakartum, whenever you, my servant, you appreciate whatever I have bestowed on you, la azidannakum, I'm going to multiply it in manifold to you. If I've given you one and you appreciate it, I will multiply it. I will do more for you. Wala in kafartum. But if you show to be an ungrateful element to me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after giving you good work, after giving you good health, after giving you house, after giving you vehicle, even what you did not deserve, I honorably gave them to you. wala in kafartum. If you disbelieve in me and you fail to appreciate me, in adhabi la shadid. I'm going to chastise you with the severe chastisement that I have with me. So every one of us, we should be appreciating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at every point in time. So that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can multiply whatever He has given us, He can multiply it for us. So that is the second condition. That is the second etiquette. That is the second ethics that every one of us should cultivate the habit of doing whenever we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us His favor. Number 3 is Antusalli ala Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to be sending salawat on Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself said, Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabiyyi ya ayyuhallazina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallim taslima. So that we can know the magnanimity of sending salawat, of asking or continuously to be asking the favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah told us in the Holy Qur'an, Inna Allaha, me Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no any other deity, me Allah, Alfu Tawheed, wa malaikatahu, and my angels. And these angels, whom ibadu mukramun, they are honorable creatures in sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. La ya'asuna Allah amarahum wa yaf'aluna ma yumarun. They don't go against the wishes and commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't. And they don't sleep. La yanamun, wa la yashrabun, wa la yakulun. Because they are what? Ibadun mukramun. They are honorable people. They are honorable creatures in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't sleep. They don't dance. They don't listen to music. They don't eat. They don't have children. They don't have wife. They don't have houses. All what they have that they are doing is ibadah. Worshipping Allah every time they continuously to be worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah now said this set of creators, me and them, yusalluna ala nabiyyi. We used to send salawat on the soul of Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah now asks us, Ya ayyuhallazina amanu, those of you that you believe in me, those of you that you believe in the kalmatul musharraf, those of you that believe in La ilaha illallah, those of you that believe in Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, those of you that believe in Yawm al-Akhir, those of you that you believe in Qadar, khairihi wa sharrihi, those of you that you believe in all this, wa malaikatuhu, and you believe in the angels, yusalluna ala nabiyyi, come and be reciting and sending salawat on the soul of Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us that He Himself is doing that for His creator. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was the one that created Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He now said, I invited the angels, they come and support me and to be doing what? To be sending salawat on Him. So you, that you are not angels, what will deny you from doing that if Allah Himself and His angels are doing it? Part of the conditions that we must inculcate whenever we are supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what that supplication to be accepted is to be doing what? To be doing salawat, to be sending salawat, and be reciting salawat on the soul of Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. One of the companions of Nabi told us, is called Fudola ibn Ubaydllah. He said that one very day, a man entered the mosque of Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Dakhalat ar-rajulu ila masjid Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa salat. He entered the mosque of Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he observed the prayer he wants to observe. And after observing the prayer, walam yusalli ala Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He requested for whatever he wants to request from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but he never sent a salawat on Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Fakharaja, he now left. After doing all this, he left. Fada'ahu Nabiyina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Nabiyina Muhammad now called him back. Faqala lahu, he now told him that is a solator whenever you observe your prayer, finish. Fakihud, sit down. Wa'amid Allah, and glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, appreciate Allah, praise Allah. Wa tusalli alayya, and you should do what? You should send salawat on me. Uwa ala, that you appreciating Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most high ibadah that you can do. And after doing that, salli alayya, you should send salawat on me. Summa adihu to stajab. After doing all this, you should now ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever you want. To stajab, your wishes will be granted. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And after some time, this man repeated what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam asked him to do. He did tahmid. Wa tusalli ala Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And as he was asking, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam now told him, Tas'al, be asking, Satuja, you will be answered. Tus'al, be asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever you wanted. Satuja, your supplication will be granted. What did Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam did for him? He cleared the road for him. And there is nobody that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will intervene for like that, or intercede in his affair like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not grant that request. So every one of us, we should form the habit of doing salawat, reciting salawat, sending salawat to the soul of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we want our wishes to be granted. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant our wishes. Number 4, among the etiquette of supplication acceptance, and to Qibla al-Qibla, is for us, whenever you are supplicating, you should do what? You should face the Qibla. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said that it is very paramount to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever he wants to supplicate, whenever he wants to pray, he will face the Qibla. We know when Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam arrived to Medina, he used to face where? Baytul Maqdis. He spent 17 months facing Baytul Maqdis before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now directed that they should be facing what? Masjid al-Haram in Makkah. That is where we have Masjid al-Qiblatain. Masjid al-Qiblatain, indicating that in Medina, still existing till today. When you go there, you won't see two Qibla, because a Qibla is one, Qiblatain is two. What happened was that in the morning, that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam finished observing Salatul Subuhi after leading the congregation. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the messenger to him, sent an angel to him that told, going forward, you should be facing where? Masjid al-Haram. So in the afternoon, that they will observe Salatul Zuhr. That was when they started facing where? They started facing Masjid al-Haram. Not that they were on the prayer in the morning, then the message now came. And while they are on the prayer, it was when they now changed. That narration is not authentic. So Salatul Subhi was observed the very day that Allah will put an end to facing the direction of Baitul Maqdis in Jerusalem. After Salatul Subhi, prior to Salatul Zuhr, that was when the message came, and during Salatul Zuhr, they started facing Masjid al-Haram. So the same, that was what happened in that masjid that led to the masjid to be called what? Masjid al-Qiblatain. Not that when you get there today or tomorrow, you now see two Qibla. So when Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, whenever he wants to communicate to Allah, whenever he wants to lead prayer, whenever he wants to render some supplication, he will face the Qibla. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu now told us, Lama Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam la'ana Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam nafara min al-Quraysh. When Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to cause la'ana, to cause You want to invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to deal with them. When he wanted to cause Nafaran, a group of Quraysh, Istadbalt al-Qibla, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam turned to the Qibla. To do what? To cause the Quraysh. Why did he cause the Quraysh? A group of the Quraysh. Why did he cause them? Because they are what? They are frustrating him. They are frustrating his life. They are frustrating the message that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him with. And among them was Al-Asi ibn Wa'il. Among them was Uqba ibn Abu Mu'id. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was observing Nafil in front of Kaaba, that he bowed down to Ruku. Uqba ibn Abu Mu'id was the one that went and brought a carcass of an animal and placed it on the what? On the back of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam while he was on Ruku around the Kaaba. Al-Asi ibn Wa'il, he was the one that was happy, was overwhelmed the very day that Ibrahim, the son of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, died on the day of Eid al-Adha. And it was reported by Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha that Adin bin Ibrahim lived after Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who will have become another prophet. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already sealed it that after Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, no any other prophet will come. Ibrahim spent just 18 months in this world. He was the son of Mariyatu al-Kibtiyya. So, the very day that Ibrahim died, there is another theological point of view here. The very day that Ibrahim died, there was an eclipse of the moon and sun. That was just natural. Not because Ibrahim, the son of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, died. The way some people used to say, if one big scholar died, they will not say, because big scholar has died, a light has come from the heaven, indicating that he's a waliullah, Allah has accepted his religion. Nothing like that in the tradition of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is an authentic hadith that said, Al-Khusuf, Wal-Khusuf, the eclipse of the moon and that of the sun that happened that very day was just natural. It was climatic condition, not because of the mouth of whom? Ibrahim, the son of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Al-Asi ibn Wa'il was among the Quraysh that was very happy, was running up and down the Mecca municipality. Alhamdulillah. Qadibtara Muhammadin, Qadibtara Muhammadin, Qadibtara Muhammadin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forsaken Muhammad. He has even killed his son. The only remaining son, he has killed him on the day of their feast, on the day of their festival. It traumatized Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This Al-Asi ibn Wa'il. He was the father of Amr ibn al-Asi. Amr ibn al-Asi now became a companion of Allah, of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered the supplication of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam pointed to his leg like this, Al-Asi ibn Wa'il. And it was that leg that Allah caused, and that was the leg that killed him. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam la'ana some of the Nafarun Quraysh, indicating that he also caused some people. Because you can ask, why will Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam cause people? Can we also cause anybody? This is a hujjah for you. But it must have gotten to a certain level of endurance. So Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala, he told us that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to face where? Qibla. Whenever he wants to what? He wants to supplicate. Again, when Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them rain, Istaqbaltul Qibla wa qallaba rida'u. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam faced Qibla when there was no rain. He faced Qibla And he turned upside down his clothes that he was wearing. And he now raised his hand to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answered their prayer. He answered the supplication, indicating that facing Qibla is one of the conditions that will lead to the acceptance of our word, of our supplication, and that of our word, our prayers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for every one of us. Number 5, among the ethics, the etiquette that leads to the acceptance of our supplication, ikhtiyaru ahsanul qawl, is for us to choose the best wordings, the wordings that are very good, that we can use to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for Allah to do what? To answer our request. He had already told us in Qur'an that Qul idiullaha aw idiur rahman ayaman tadiu falahu al-asma'ul husna wa la tajar bis salatika wa la tukhaffit biha wabtaghi bayna dhalika sabila wa qul alhamdulillahi alladhi lam yattakhidh waladan wa lam yakul lahu sharikun fil mulki wa lam yakul lahu waliyyun min adh-dhulli wa kabbirhu takbira. Allah said, Qul idiullah idiur rahman, call me Allah. There is no any other name that we can bear with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is 4 alphabets. Alif, Lam, and Harun Marbut. These 4 alphabets, these 4 huruf, you use it to call Allah, Huwa Ismul Jalala, is the highest name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that nobody can share with him. If you remove the first alphabet, it will remain Lamun wa Lamun wa Ahu. You can say Lillahi ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Whatever is in between the heaven and earth, what is in the heaven, what is in the earth, in the interface of the heaven and the earth, Lillahi mulku samawati wa ma fil ard. It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's remove the first lam. Now we are detaching the first alif and the first lam. Remaining what? Lamun wa Ahu. Lahu ma fi samawati wa ma fil ard. Everything belongs to who? Allah. Lahu. Can anybody bear lahu? If you bear it now, in the next couple of minutes you will cease to be existing. Because you cannot share his name. That is the Ismul Jalala. Fi zatihi wa fi shifatihi. Let's remove the second lam now. We are detaching 3 alphabets. We are detaching alif, we are detaching lamun, we are detaching the second lam. Remaining Harun Marbut. Huwa Allahu alladhi la ilaha illa huwa al-mulku al-qudusu as-salamu al-mu'minu huwa al-hayyu yuhyi wa yumitu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. That is the how, the 4th alphabet. Is there any alphabet that we remove that did not leave the remaining alphabet to be Allah, to describe Allah to us? So, who among us can now use any of this alphabet to call himself? Fatabarakallahu ahsanul khaliqin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we should use the best of his names to call him. Don't call the name of any aljanu. Don't call the name of any jinn. Don't use any demon's name to call me. Idiullah or Idiur Rahman, call me Allah. Or Idiur Rahman, or call me Ar-Rahman. We have some of our brothers that are bearing Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, Ar-Rahim, the most benevolent. These are the good names that you need to be calling. Not Irkayabinu, Shamshawinu, Dakayanusu, Maribunatu, Kitimiru, not all these. You are calling all these names. They are the names of demons. They are the names of jinn. At the end of the day, what Kitimiru? A Kitimiru is the name of the dog that follows Ashabul-Kahfi. What will the dog do for you? What will the dog do for you at the end of the day? Allah said, call my name. Idiullaha or Idiur Rahman. Ayaman tad'u biha. Whichever one you use to call me. Falahul asma'u al-husna. I am the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that has the best of the best names. We should use the best of the name to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, when some servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they use one of the best names to call him. And Imam Tabari, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with him, wrote a book, and he named the book as what? Ad-Duah. The name of the book is what? Ad-Duah, being written by whom? Imam Tabari. What did he say? Concerning us to select the good names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have Ismullah al-Azami, that the Yoruba people used to call Lazami, Lazami, Lazami. These ones are not Nakali. The direct Nakali that we can use is to use the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to call him, not the name of any sheikh. So Imam Tabari sat down and put together the Asma'ullah wa Sifat that are best for us, that we can use to do what? To ask from Allah for whatever we want. Ad-Du'a al-Ma'asurat. They are selected supplications. They are selected azkar from the teachings and sayings and actions of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Imam Tabari now said, Ada Kitab, this book that I have compiled, Khalatuhu Jami'a li Adiyyati Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that I compiled it, I put it together to follow the footsteps of that of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Adani ala dhalik, that I did it just to follow the path of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Because of what? Inni ra'aytu kaseeran minan nas, because I saw a lot of people. They are doing what? That what they are doing is they compile some supplications together just to be enticing themselves, just to bring out continuous slogans inside what? Inside the supplication that they are doing. That they want all the prayers to precede each other. Like saying, in, ami, at the end of the day, ba'i, ta'i, sa'i. He said they compose some things together just to have a sweet ending, which are meaningless in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what Imam Tabari said. That led him to do what? To compile the prophetic what? The prophetic supplication. He said some of these supplications that they are put together, that they are using to entice themselves, that they are using to communicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they splitted some of them into some number of days. Brothers, is there any supplication that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has told us that this is the dua you have to do on Monday, this is the dua you have to do on Tuesday, this is the dua you have to do on Wednesday? No! In those days, there are some days that you must not bath with soap. The belief of some of our scholars in those days. If you take your bath today, you only rinse your body. Tomorrow you must not use soap. So day you must not travel. They have all these doctrines, all these deep beliefs, but they are sentimental to the what? To what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam brought to us as a tradition. Imam Tabari said, I compile these supplications for our people to be enlightened, so that they will know that there is no day that we cannot what? We cannot supplicate. That these people that compile these supplications, they compile it because they want to get something from people that they want to sell these things to. Al-Warraqun, those that want to eat, they want to exploit people. You see some malams, they will prepare some of this dua. They say, this dua, 300 naira, 1,000 naira. If you do it, all your children will go to abroad. If you do it, your wife will just be giving birth to 1,000 children. They will advertise it to the extent that you will also want to be convinced. But they are what? They are fabricated supplications. That not on the part of what? They are not compiled on the part of that of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is what led Imam Tabari to the compilation of the Ad-Iyat of that of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he compiled together and led to the book called what? Ad-Duah. Imam Tabari said, La turwa an Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wala an adin min ashabihi. Some of these supplications that some people compile together, they have no narration. They were not reported from Nabi Muhammad. Wala an adin min ashabihi. From his companions, none of them narrated such prayers, such supplications. None of them narrated it. Wala an adin min at-tabi wa tabi'un. Those that succeeded the companion, the second generation, none of them narrated or reported this kind of supplication. So where did they originated from? Al-Warraqun, those that are just seeking for what to eat, they are the ones that compile all this. Ma ruwiya an Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam min kariyati an shaja'in wa ta'addi fi. Despite the fact that Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not recommend this type of supplication to us, they are still doing it. And they are prophesying it. They are advertising it as if they were originated from Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. فَخَلَّفْتُ هَذَا الْكِتَابِ مِنْ أَسَانِيدِ الْمَأْثُورَاتِ عَنْ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said because of all these frivolities, all these misconceptions, that was what led me to the compilation of what? Of this my book called Ad-Duah, written by whom? Imam At-Tabari. For us to be guided, for us to know that this is what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked us to do, and this is what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said we should not do. So one of the best things that we need to do while we are supplicating, one of the ethics, one of the etiquettes, whenever we are supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to do what? To choose the best among the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they are uncountable. The names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are not just 99. The names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are uncountable. So whichever one, Idu'ullah, Idu-Rahman, Ayamantadi'u bi'a, fala'ula asma'u al-usna. Allah said, I have a countable number of beautiful names. Call me with any one of them. Allahu ya Rahman, Allahu ya Rahim, Allahu ya Ghaffar. Brothers, now if you are not calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allahu ya Rahman, oh Allah, the most beneficent. What do you want the most beneficent to do to you? That somebody will not give you adadi, that you go and recite ya Rahman 1 million times. You go and do ya Latifu 1,000 times. You go and do ya Maliku 1 million times. When you are calling Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, what do you want that Allah to do for you? Just like somebody calling my name now. Ya Saheed, Ya Saheed, Ya Saheed. What do you want Saheed to do for you? Because that is why some people, they will recite the whole Qur'an. They will recite a countable number of the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? But at the end of the day, what they requested from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will not get it because they have not fulfilled the condition of what? Of getting it. If you say, Ya Allah, ir'amuni, Ya Karimu, Akrimuni, Ya Akram. Akram is a very beautiful name. Ikra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaqa, khalaqa al-insana min khalaqi, ikra wa rabbuka al-akram. It's a beautiful name. Oh Allah, the most noble. Allah, share your nobility with me. Ya Latif, oh Allah, you are the one that used to have mercy. Iltufuni, oh Allah, be merciful on me. Ya Ghaffari, oh Allah, that used to forgive. Agfirli, Zunubi, forgive me of my sins. Ma'alam wa mala a'lam, the one I know, the one I don't know. Sira wa alaliyatan, the one I commit hiddenly, and the one I committed openly. Oh Allah, forgive me of my sins. So whenever you are calling the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need to attach it to whatever you want him to do for you. That is the number 5th condition if you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do what? To accept our supplication. Number 6, in the ethics of acceptance of supplication, you should be in al-alatu, at-tazallul, wal-iftikar. You should be in a humility state. You should be humble to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whenever you are calling unto him, you should be humble. You should not be proud of yourself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You should not take that your arrogancy to the front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, wa ibadur rahman, the servant of we Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those that we can categorize as our servants, alladhina yamushuna ala al-ardi awna, whenever they are walking on the earth surface, they walk on the earth surface with tranquility. Whenever they are talking, they talk to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with tranquility. Whenever they are doing anything, they need to be humble, to the extent that they will be very humble in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whenever they are requesting from Him. And we don't need to be shouting on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's not part of the good ethics for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to consider us in accepting our supplication. Because He had already told us, وَأَسِيرُ قَوْلَكُمْ in Surah Al-Mulk. أَوْ وِجْعَرُ بِهِ إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ اللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ وَهُوَ اللَّطِيفُ الْخَبِيرُ. وَأَسِيرُ قَوْلَكُمْ, whatever you say secretly. أَوْ وِجْعَرُ بِهِ, and the one that you say openly, إِنَّهُ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. Before you put your thoughts together, I knew what is in your heart. We don't need to be shouting on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is not a deaf person. He's not a person like me and you. So He's always there to hear us. Because He has told us that وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ, He's always there, He's listening. Al-Alimu, He knows more than you. Before you put them together, He has the knowledge. So we don't need to shout on Allah. Nabiyuna Zakaria, alayhi salamullah, when he wanted to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, idnada rabbahu nida'an khafiyya. When he was asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him with an offspring. Oh Allah, I want you. Nada rabbahu nida'an khafiyya. He called Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with humility. He didn't shout on Allah. So whenever we are calling Allah, we should call Him with what? With humility. That is the sixth condition, if we want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us our request. Al-allatu at-tadallul wal-iftikar. We should be very humble that, oh Allah, you have seen me. Like that of Nabiyuna Yunus, alayhi salamullah. Nabiyuna Yunus was inside three darknesses. Number one, he was inside the darkness of what? Of a whale. Number two, he was inside the whale. Was swallowed by another bigger whale, making second what? Second darkness. Number three was the darkness of that sea or ocean that he was inside. And what was he doing? What was he chanting inside the whale? La ilaha illa anta subhanaka inni kuntu minas zalimin. Inni kuntu minas zalimin, not zalimin. Inni kuntu minas zalimin. Oh Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, la ilaha illa anta. No any other deity except you. Subhanaka. All glory, all purification, all adoration, laka, belong to you. Inni, me, Yunusa, kuntu minas zalimin. I've wronged. I've gone wrong somewhere. So I know you are punishing me here. Oh Allah, forgive me. If a whole prophet can do that, then who are we? Nabi Adam, alayhi salamullah, Allah sent him away. From where? From Al-Jannah. He told him that eat from every other thing. They are in abundance in this paradise. وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا مِنْ هَذِهِ الشَّجَرَةِ. Don't eat from this particular tree. The name of that tree is called Ash-Shajaratul Al-Antit. That was the name of that tree that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Adam. Eat from every other thing. They are surplus. They are in abundance. Don't touch this one. Shaitan, la'natullahi alayhi iblisa, he whispered into the ear of our mother. And you know, some of us, our weak points are what? Is our women. Shaitan, la'natullahi alayhi, told Nana Awawu that go and whisper to your husband, go and convince him. It's because the Almighty God doesn't want you people to continuously to be living on the earth's surface. That was the reason why he asked you not to eat from what? From this tree. And Nana Awawu was able to do what? To convince her husband And after eating it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent them out of the paradise. They were sent out of the paradise. They spent 40 years before they met together. One narration said, Nabiyuna Adam landed in Jeddah. Another narration in the same narration said, Nana Awawu landed in where? In India. Wallahu ta'ala alam. But they were sent away from where? From the paradise. Because they did what? They disobeyed the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nabiyuna Adam alayhi salamullah. He went to Masjid al-Haram to go and do tawaf 40 times. Because they spent 40 years, they got separated from each other. And whenever he's asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness, he'll be saying what? Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa in lam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. Before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive them, it was after 40 years. And they came together. As they were coming together, they came closer to each other at Mash'arul Haram, where the Hujjaj, the pilgrims, where they will travel to when they are leaving the Arafat plain at the sunset on the day of Arafat. Where they will go and sleep overnight and pick the pebbles that they will go and do in Jamra, that they will go and stone in Jamra. That is the best place to pick the pebbles. You can pick it from anywhere. But the best place is to pick it from where? Mash'arul Haram. It was at Mash'arul Haram that Nabiyuna Adam and his wife, Sayyidatuna Nana Awawu, it was there that they are getting what? They are getting closer to each other after 40 years. Which I've explained last year that we are talking about Hajj, which we are not going to have the opportunity this year. They were trying to get closer to each other before they now met on the Jabalur Rahma. There is nothing like Monte Arafah. We are the one that named it Monte Arafah. It is called Mountain Rahma, Jabalur Rahma. Where Nana Awawu and Nabiyuna Adam alayhi salamullah, on the mountain that they finally met together, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave them after Rabbana zalamna anfusana wa in lam taghfir lana wa tarhamna lanakunanna minal khasirin. He told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have wronged ourselves. We didn't wrong you. You can't even wrong Allah. Who are you and what are you? Zalamna anfusana, we have wronged ourselves. Wa in lam taghfir lana, Allah, if you refuse to forgive us, it's not saying wa in lam taghfir wa in lam taghfir lana, because it was him and his wife that committed the sin. What an amna after forgiving us. If you are not merciful on us, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might forgive you, He might not be merciful on you. You continue your life like that. If you are not merciful on us, after the forgiveness, lanakunanna minal khasirin, we are going to be among the losers in this world and in the hereafter. If Nabiyuna Adam alayhi salamullah at that level can say this, then who are you? Who am I? That will not be so subtle, that will not be so humane, with a certain degree of humility in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whenever you want to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his favor, even the one that you know you deserve, Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has gotten the automatic certificate of Al-Jannah. He has even given some. Ashara mubashirina bil Jannah. He has given them. So Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is supposed to be living a free-care life. Despite that, he refused doing it. We all know the story of لِيَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكَ مَنْ تَقَدَّمَ مِنْ ذَنْبِكَ وَمَنْ تَأَخَّرَ. The sin that you have not committed, and the sin you are committing, and the sin you have committed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala لِيَغْفِرَ اللَّهُ لَكَ مَنْ تَقَدَّمَ وَمَنْ تَأَخَّرَ. But Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who al-ma'zumun, he was among the ma'zumun, those that they had the immunity in them, that they will not commit sin. Still, he was doing what? He was supplicating to Allah. He was observing Nawafil. He was so humane in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It told Sayyidatuna Aisha, Afalam akun abdan shakura. Don't you want me to be glorifying Allah? Don't you want me to be a grateful servant to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? As majority of us, we are ungrateful to those that Allah has used as an instrument to the level of success we have achieved in life. Some of us are ungrateful. You that man lam yashkuru nasa lam yashkurullah. If you can't appreciate human being, you can't appreciate Allah. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam keep on appreciating Allah time without number. So what we need to do if we want Allah to accept our supplication is what? Is to be humane. That is that. During the time of Nabi Dawud alayhi salamullah, Prophet David, there was drought. They experienced drought season. So what will they do? Nabi Dawud, he was a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was a prophet. But despite that, Allah tried him and tried his community, tried his ummah. Allah did not give them rain. They put heads together. What are we going to do? They now said, what we need to do is to talk to the ulama among us. They now identify 3 people in their midst. That these 3 people, they should go and help us to seek for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala favor. If we have wronged Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they should go and talk to Allah. Allah should what? Allah should forgive us of our shortcomings. He should give us rain. Because the animals are dying. The farmland are not producing anything. Brothers, let us all flash back. During just this concluded Ramadan that we concluded maybe 5 weeks ago, we knew what we went through with the intensity of heat in this country. The meteorological services or the NIMET in Nigeria here keep on encouraging that everybody should be keeping water beside them, even at night, in case you might want to have a season. You'll be able to use water to rescue your life. That is just hot weather. Not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala season is rain. So during the time of Nabi Dawud, there was no rain. So they now raised 3 set of people that you go and help us, go and communicate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each one of them now utter a statement, which I'm going to share with us. The fourth malam among them, not even Nabi Dawud, people under him, the fourth one among them said, Allahumma innaka anzalta fi tawratika anna afu man zalamana. Allahumma inna zallamna anfusana fa'fu anna. Oh Allah, you are the one that revealed in the Holy Scripture of the Torah that you gave to whom? Nabi Dawud. All of these prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have their scriptures that Allah gave unto them. A Torah is for whom? It's for Nabi Dawud. Engr is for Nabi Musa Al'ashiary. Az-Zabur is for Nabi Dawud Alayhi. Al-Quran al-Karim, Dhu'l-Qi'dah is for whom? Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Other prophets too, they have all their scriptures that Allah has given them as a Qur'an that they used to go and prophesy. And they use as what? As their risala. But all these scriptures, all of them, they are inside Al-Quran al-Karim, which we have explained. The portion of Quran that belongs to At-Torah, the portion of Quran that belongs to Engr, the portion of Quran that belongs to Zabur, and all of them, they were now encompassed in Dhu'l-Qi'dah, which is the Quran that Allah gave Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that me and you have privilege of having access to. So this malam now said, oh Allah, you are the one that revealed into the scripture of At-Torah that whoever might have wronged us, we should forgive that person. Oh Allah, we too, we have committed something against you. We have wronged ourselves. Fa'fu anna. Oh Allah, forgive us. That was what the first malam said when they were asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them rain. The second malam said, Allahumma, oh Allah, innaka anzalta fi tawratika anna ati riqa'ana. You Allah, you are the one that said, the slaves, the servants under us, that we should free them. These days we don't have slaves around us. The housemaids, the helpers, the stewards that are working with us, the gardeners, the security, these are our own slaves. Because you are the one that you are determining their wages. And there is no trade by barter. You are their Lord now, a temporary Lord on the earth. Because of what? Because of the provision of sustenance. Oh Allah, you are the one that asked that we should free our slave. Oh Allah, inna nati riqauka. Oh Allah, we that we are your slaves, we have come to you Fatikna. Allah, free us. We are in a bondage. Because you know we have wronged you somewhere. That is why you put us in this condition of drugs. The third malam said, Allahumma, oh Allah, innaka anzalta fi tawratika. You are the one that revealed into the scripture of At-Tawrah. Allah narudda masakin in waqaftu fi abwabina. You said we should not send away masakin, the less privileged ones. Aw as-sa'ilun, or those that will come and ask. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, wa aman sa'ila fala tani'am. Whoever comes to your door, whoever asks from you, fala taniham. Don't utter foul languages to them. If you don't have, masalam, babu, you can go. Fala taniham. Don't utter foul languages to them. Oh Allah, we are in front of you now. Nanu masakinuka wa nanu inda babika. We are in front of you. We are in front of your door, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fala taruddana du'a'ana. Oh Allah, don't send back to us. Don't return back to us our request that we are requesting from you that you should grant us water. Fasakawu. And after this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed unto them and descend unto them abundance of water. After so many years that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala seized water from them. These are just servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala under Nabiyuna Dawood alayhi salamullah. Not even Nabiyuna Dawood. And they communicated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and their supplication was granted. What if the Nabiullah, what if he was the one that now supplicated to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not forsake any one of us. During the time of Banu Umayyah, in Andalus, Banu Umayyah are a set of people that governed the Islamic empire after the Abbasid. Abbasid are the clan of Ibn Abbas. So in Andalus, in Spain, an incident also happened that there was a drought as well. And the Khalifa, the leader of the Muslim as at then, was called Abdurrahman al-Sadis, Abdurrahman III. Like we too, we have the Emir. You mentioned the name, number 3. In the Yoruba land, we have the king, Ojaja of Kinikan, number 2. That means number 1 has existed, he has died. Right? Abdurrahman al-Salis was the Khalifatul Mu'minin then in Andalus. And there was no rain for 3 years. This Khalifa now called the ulama. He spoke to them that you, ulama, me am Khalifa. You the ulama, what do we do to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to come to our aid? Because you can't continue like this. They now advised him that what we can do is to go and meet one righteous malam. The righteous malam was not in that community. And that malam is called Al-Qadi ibn Jama'a. Qadi al-Jama'a. He was a prominent scholar, living an isolated life, like the way they used to do in those days. Some of our righteous malams, they hardly mix with people because they see themselves as pure human beings and they don't want any circumstances around them to break their communication with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Some, in those days, if you go and meet them, oh, Malam, please supplicate for me. They will supplicate for you. Even if you want to give them something, they will say no. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer this supplication, whatever you want to come and give them. Not the ones that are rampant on social media today, that they will be sleeping with your wife, sleeping with your daughters. They will tell you they need to collect 7 cows, white ones. Even the eyeball has to be totally white. The iris of the eyeball should be white. They will tell you in the midnight they have to go to the cemetery to go and talk to our Yala Yawa in the midnight. They will tell you, go and bring the best of your organza in your wardrobe. They will tell, subhanallah. They will tell you they have to go to in between Lagos by the expressway. They want to go and meet some here. They are the one that will arrange some old women, color them with different kind of charcoal and whatever. And as you are going, since you two don't have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, You that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says you should bring 1 million naira. They go and collect 100 million naira from your hand. And at the end of the day, you now run back to the person that have told you the truth. If you fail to follow Kitabullah wa Sunnah to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is how they will be playing with you and playing with your future. All majority of these so-called malams of today, majority of them, they are after matawul khayatud dunya. Man that doesn't have any business that is building a property in Banana Island, that doesn't have any business that is building in Aso Rock, all the highbrow areas, that is where did they get the money from? And these are the people some of our Muslim brothers and sisters are running to. They have this hayatud dunya, but they will never have akhirah. Fine, Allah said, وَلَا تَنْسَى نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ كُلَّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. When the people of Karuna, they told him, tread gently. Tread gently. Whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this world, enjoy it. وَلَا تَنْسَى نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ. Where is the ihsan of these people now? I met and I reached and I stood in front of some malam that they will talk now, and before the dawn, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will answer the prayer. I met them. I visited some of them. So if you are talking about people in the past, some have lived with us. But today, what is their children, or what are their children doing? They have derailed from the path that their parents have taught. It is only faith that is remaining. That's why they were able to be telling us that Al-Barda will be following so substance. Who is selling it? Who is distributing it? If not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They now say this man, let us go and meet him. So the Khalifa heed to the advice of the righteous people around him. I keep telling us, those of you that you have PAs, you that you are a family man, and your PA doesn't have any family, which kind of advice can he give you about your family? You are a family man, you have wife, you have children, you have responsibility, but you have a PA that doesn't even have a direction about his life. Is he the one that will now be telling you how to manage your family? Nucleated family and extended family. Is it the one that will now be telling you how to manage them? No. So whoever wants to share the discussion of our life or discussion about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with, must be some people that are of ulul ilmi min al azmi. People that are sensible are the people we need to discuss with so that they can guide us on the right path. So they spoke with the Khalifa, and Khalifa listened to them. And they sent an emissary. They sent him to the Qadi al-Jama'a. Qadi al-Jama'a was the title. His name is Munzir ibn Saheed. Fasuila Anshan al-Amir. On getting to him, the emissary they sent to him to go and meet him in the neighboring town. When he got to him, the first thing he asked the emissary they sent to him was that, Kaifa tarakta maulana? What is the condition? How did you leave our Khalifa? What situation is our Khalifa in? The emissary now told Qadi Jama'a, Munzir ibn Saheed, that Taraktu Maulaya, or Taraktu Maulana, I left our Khalifa. Qadi Nazala, min Sharirihi, he has come down from his throne. Babadi Tarababi Turab is rubbing himself on the ground and he is supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He was not sitting on the throne because he was Khalifa. I hope we are getting it. A whole Khalifa that has all royalty, that has everything around him. He came down from the throne, he sat on the floor, crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do what? To give them rain. Indicating that whoever you are and whatever you are, whenever you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you something, you need to come down We are talking about humility, right? You need to come down. Forget about the position that you are. That is why some rich men, we call Malam to come and pray for them in their house. They will recite Qur'an, 1 million Qur'an for them. But at the end of the day, what they ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do, Allah will not grant it. Because of what? They will say, you should lay mat for Malams. Malams are the one that used to sit down on the floor, and he will be sitting on his chair. At times, some of them will be inside their room, doing their businesses, and the Malams are inside the sitting room, reciting Quran. And when it is about 5 minutes that they finish the whole thing, will now come out and give them Brahma envelope. That is what some people believe that is what the Malam deserve. You see, an Khalifa that has a legacy, that has impacted in the world. See how he came down from whatever he has. And he came down to the ground. Started crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So also, Nabiuna Sulaiman, during one of the expeditions, before meeting Bilkisu, there was one expedition that they went, that they need to kill, or they massacred the community, they killed the king, and in the palace of that king, there was a daughter of that king, very beautiful daughter. So Nabiuna Sulaiman alayhi salamullah, at the end of the day, to cut the long story short, he married that lady. So every time, every day, that lady used to cry every day. A very beautiful girl. She used to cry every day. Nabiuna Sulaiman kept on asking her, what used to make you to be crying every day? She refused telling him. One very day she now told him that, oh, I want to see my what? I always want to see my father. So Nabiuna Sulaiman, and you know, under his authority were the who? The jinns. So he instructed that they should go and carve the statue or the father of that lady. He had already married her. It's part of the taboos. Part of the booty, not taboo. Part of the booty, ganima. Ganima means ganaim, of the what? Of the war. So he married her, and she kept on crying. At the end of the day, they constructed or they molded the statue of whom? Of that lady's father, of the late king. Whenever Nabiuna Sulaiman goes out, the lady will be bowing down for the statue of her father inside the house of whom? Of Nabiullah. Majority of us that we are sitting down here, or majority of people, you don't know what your wife are doing inside your houses now. And you have gone outside to go and hunt for what they are going to eat. That is why some of the prayers you are supplicating or you are praying inside the house, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is here. Because you are pure. But your wife is doing something. As you stepped out, after 30 minutes, she has gone to a man that will give her blood soup. She has gone to a man that will do incision on her body. She has gone to a man that the man is a sorcerer, is a soothsayer, is a naysayer. And you tawakkal ala Allah ala kulli shani. And he's saying that same house that you are supplicating, kayfa tastajibu du'aika. How will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answer your prayer? La wala alifullah. So whenever we are supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to be in a state of what? Humility. So this Munzir ibn Saheed, after asking the emissary that they sent to him, they now told him that our king, our Khalifa, is already on the ground asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his favor. Conclusively on that of Nabiuna Sulaiman. Nabiuna Sulaiman now went for fishmongering one very day. On getting to the sea, his ring, the Saubu, the king, the ring of the Nubuwah, the ring of the prophethood. Even Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has a ring, and on top of it, he used to use it as a seal. You have Allahu Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam on it. That is what Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to use as a seal. You know, he can't write and he can't read. So whenever they write for him finish, he will seal it. It's part of what he used to send to the Kaisar. All the three kings that he sent letter to, for them to come and accept what? To come and accept Islam. So Nabiuna Sulaiman also has a ring. That ring is the ring of what? Nubuwah. So at the end of the day, where he was hunting for fish as a fishmonger, the ring got missing. As at the time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was dealing with him, he never knew that his wife inside the house was associating partnership with Allah. At the end of the day, he took one of his old clothes inside the house. He went to the back of the community. He went to be rubbing himself on the ground to be crying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him back his throne. That same river or that same sea that used to go and do like an envoy, you go and walk there. Nabi Sulaiman, alayhi salamullah. That's why every malam should have work they will do. If you don't have work to do, you will eat haram. Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to be an elder before Sayyidatuna Aisha, Sayyidatuna Khadija engaged him and married him. He used to work. Nabi Dawud was among the first blacksmith or goldsmith in this world. Nabi Nuh was the first carpenter. All of them, they have work. Where is the work that some of our malams are doing today? We now say we're asking them to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes, they will call him with good state of mind, but Allah will not answer it because they have eaten an unlawful substance. They have eaten haram. Nabi Sulaiman alayhi salamullah became so humane in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah later restored back his throne. He later found the ring inside the fish that they gave him as his wage. That is Nabi Sulaiman. Now, Qadi, Jama'a, Munzir ibn Saheed, he now told them that your Khalifa, our Khalifa, he has gotten what he wanted from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because he himself, he has relinquished himself in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has called himself to be nobody and he was somebody on the earth. He was the Khalifa al Mu'minin. So every one of us, we need to be what? We need to be humble whenever we are supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He now told the emissary that, tell him, Sayyushalullahu, Sayyuti kullu man yasha, kullu man yuti. Tell him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to grant him all what he has requested from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant every one of us and grant us our request, inshallah. Wala hawla wala quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala ma la nabiyya ba'da. We give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the opportunity He has given us. May He accept this gathering as an act of ibadah and forgive us of our shortcomings. Conclusively, we've been talking about the etiquette. Kayfiyatu istijabatu du'a. The etiquette of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to answer our supplications. And we have mentioned 6 of them, which is going to be the concluding part of what we have been discussing since during Ramadan on Ad-Duah Sayful Mu'min. The dua as the weapon of the believers, inshallah. So on this, for us to be humane, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to answer our prayer, an alim, one scholar, this is the way he submitted himself to Allah. He said, Ilahi, oh Allah, in taratani an babika, if you send me away from your door, if you don't want to see me in front of you, فَإِلَى بَابِ مَنْ أَلْتَجِي, to whose door will I now go to and go and stand in front of that person's door that I will be crying to? And we are told, مَنْ دَاقَ الْبَابَ وَلَجَا وَلَجَا, whoever knocks on the door, what is the next thing they will do for him? They will open the door for the person. If you know how to open the door. Brothers, we know I told us, and we have been discussing this several times. Even this, Sabwa Samawat, each one of the heaven, they have what? They have their what? They have their doors. When we discuss about Kayfa Taftahu Abwabu Sama, how do we open the doors of the heaven? For those of you that you are engineer or whatever, you are civil engineer that you know, each of the doors, you have your 900 doors, you have your 1.2 doors, you have your 600 doors, width, right? For toilet or whatever. The doors of the heavens, they have their width, they have their height, they have their thickness, they have the material that they use to provide them. And our human beings here are calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they are opening all the 7 doors for them. It will now go to Sidratul Muntaha. From Sidratul Muntaha, it will go to Baytul Ma'mur. From Baytul Ma'mur, it will go to where? It will go to Izzatullah. We discussed all this when we are talking about Al-Isra'i wal-Mihraj. This servant of Allah now said, Allah, if you send me packing away from your door, ila babi man alitaji, whose door should I go to? Who will open it? Which door? Then when I get there, man alitaji, who will open it for me? Wa in qatatani an khidmatika, oh Allah, if you cut me off from worshiping you, you don't want me to be worshiping you again, I'm calling on to you, because you might get to a certain level, you become frustrated. I've been calling him, he's not answering me, but he's answering you. Maybe you ought to have been on transit that the kidnappers will have kidnapped. But that very day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala held on to you that you should not travel. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used that your supplication to block that yesterday's evil for you. Wa in qatatani, Allah, if you send me away, you send me packing, you cut me off, and khidmatika, for me not to be worshiping you. Frustration can deny some people. I've met some people that they stop praying because they have asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do this for them, and he's not doing it. And their khamsu salawat has never ceased. Their qiyamul layl has never ceased. Their sawmu tatawwa has never ceased. Because they did not get good work. They said they want to stop praying. We live together with that person in this Lagos state. At the end of the day, he was a student for DSS or SSS in Kano State. He was there when CBN called him. He's presently in CBN now. And I told him the very day, have you started praying? Because this honor that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done for you is al-istidraju. It's like you want to catch a monkey and you are now extending the hand of what? Of banana to it. As the monkey is coming closer to you, you are withdrawing your hand. That is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done for you as a favor. Don't see it as a favor. Allah is coming for you. You are sinning against Allah. You are not following his dictate. You are not following the dictate of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and everything is becoming rosy for you. وَلَلْآخِرَةٌ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى. It's better you wait for that one. Allah should take this one away from you, because you won't head well. وَلَا يَخَافُ عُقْبَاهَا. How any one of us is going to end, Allah doesn't care. إِذَا قَتَلْتَنِي عَنْ خِدْمَتِكَ. Oh Allah, if you cut me away from worshiping you, إِلَى مَنْ أَلِتَجِي, who will I now go to go and be worshiping? Ilahi, oh Allah, in azabtani, if you chastise me, if you deal with me, you allow my wife to be misbehaving, to become prostitute in the neighborhood. If you allow my children to become nefarious, that despite the fact that I'm struggling, I'm your servant, I'm your abdul, min ibadullah, and at the end of the day, all these children, they are collecting tears from my eyes. Allah, who do you want me to go and meet? I'm in the same position for 10, 20 years. All the children that have started work and they are still in primary school, they are now my bosses. Allah, who do you want me to go and meet? I'm just stagnant like a stagnant water. Allah, direction in my life. Who do you want me to go and meet if you cut me off? In azabtani, if you're chastising me, no clearance in my life. I'm on the wrong alignment. When will I get it? Allah, I'm your servant. Have mercy on me. Why not for anta al-juddi? The malam now bribe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why not, oh Allah, if you become merciful on me, for anta al-juddi wal karam, you are the one that used to honor people. Al-juddi, that used to give. You give anybody. Wal karam, and you are the one that used to honor people. Ya Saheed, oh Allah, my oga, my boss, my superior, my creator. Laka ahlasul arifun. You are the one that used to be merciful with arifun, al-ma'rifah. Those that are conversant with you, those that knows you. This ma'rifah of a thing is a problem with alu tasawwuf. Laka ahlasul arifun. Those that understand you very well, you are the one that used to be friendly with them. Why be fadlika naja solihun, with your honor, with your magnanimity. Naja solihun, the righteous one used to become successful. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let us be successful. Why be rahmatika, with your mercy. Anabal mukasirun, those that are not up and doing, you used to have mercy on them. You see, the Mala is bribing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now. He's calling him.
It's just like you go to a ceremony, maybe in Yoruba land. All these people that used to sing, they'll be beating drum, they'll be calling you, especially if they know you, they know your family. Saheed ọmọ Olaosebikan, ọmọ àwọn tí bàbá wọn máa ń bùnyàn lówó, ọmọ àwọn tí bàbá wọn kọ́lé fúnyàn, ọmọ àwọn. They'll be calling you even the name that your father did not bear, just because of what? You should put hand in your pocket. That is what the malam is doing for Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come to his aid. Allah will come to his aid. وَبِرَحْمَتِكَ أَنَبَ الْمُقَصِّرُونَ. Those that cannot even observe Ramadan with a certain condition, you are the one that you should be merciful on them. You ask them to do what? To pay fidya. You used to give opportunity. You used to be levity on people. Ya Jamil al-Afwa. Oh Allah, that your forgiveness is very splendid. Jamil, something sweet, something, a very good fragrance, something that is pretty, a pretty woman, a beautiful woman. Some of us among us here, it is our woman that are still keeping us alive. Whenever you look at her face, Kai, my wife, you don't have money, but anytime you see her, you always know that you entered Jannah because she's giving you tranquility in your mind. Jamilu means something that is beautiful. Ya Jamilul Afwa, you that your forgiveness is beautiful. Brothers, if anybody is telling on all this, won't you do and undo for the person in a good way? Agishini Beradi Afuka, Allah clothe me. Beradi Afuika with the cloth of your word, of your forgiveness and your mercy. Wa ala wati magfiratika. Al-Maghfirah, your forgiveness. Al-Halawa, Alewa, we ourselves, we know Alewa, something that is sweet. The sweetness of your forgiveness, Allah shower it on me. Wa in lam akun alu rizalika, Allah, if you refuse to do this, fa'anta alu taqwa wa alu maghfirah. No any other person, no any other deity that can do this, except you that we are so conscious of, and you that you can do it, no any other person. This is what one malam. This is how he approach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what? With humility in his word, in his calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it and forgive every one of us. Bottom line, we should be humble, we should be humane whenever we are doing what? We are calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allah ya'murukum bil adli wal ihsan wa ita'i zil qurba wa yanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar wal baghi ya'izukum la'allakum tadhakkarun. Allah is encouraging every one of us. Ya'murukum bil adli. We should be just in whatever we are doing. Wal ihsan, we should do good. And al-ihsan is what? An ta'budallaha ka'annaka tarahu wa in lam takun tarahu fa innahu yaraka. If anybody is not seeing you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is seeing you. In our various places of works, let them know us that we are righteous Muslims. Don't be a ceremonial Muslim on Fridays and during Ramadan and during Eid Layah. Majority of people going to Hajj and Umrah, majority of them, they don't pray. They are just ceremonial Muslims, and they will be the first point, the first set of people that will be looking for where they will do akuri, including male. I don't know what a male, I don't know what you want to use an hakori for. The hakori that they say we should remove at the point when we are bathing you when you die. Because you didn't bring it here, you should not return it to Allah. Allah doesn't need it. You will see them in Makkah, in Medina. Is that what you are there for? 3 Nigerians have died now, just within 2 weeks that they started lifting them. What if you are among the people that die over there that don't come back to see your family? You have to go there to go and do ibadah. You see them, some, they will not even pray. All what they will be doing up and down, they will be looking for Salman Saw. Salman Saw is where they used to buy clothes in Makkah. $8 million. And you go there, you go and play. 3 million last year. 8 million this year. Nabi Muhammad had already told us, a time will come, we have our money like this, the road will be very difficult for us to pass through. Not coronavirus, no pandemic. There won't be opportunity for us to go to that hard. May Allah not let it meet us in this world. Who are made alamatul akhiru sa'a. 8 million. 8 million. Al-Ihsan is to worship Allah as it is expected. Wa ita'i zil qurba, our family member. You know, I used to say it every time. Now that we have power, let's help the people we can help. You that you are in that hotel today, or wherever you are today, even if it's ordinary cleaner that you know they are looking for, call somebody from your family. You don't want them to know you are working in the refinery. Who are you and what are you? Are you among the number 1 to 10 of among the number 1 to 10 children of the investors? Nobody even know you. You are hiding. Are you not a salary earner? Help people, because a day of incapacitation is coming. You will need them. A majority of the children today now, none of them wants to stay in Nigeria again. All of them are running outside the country, right? Even the unborn children that we are yet to born, all of them don't want to stay in Nigeria, right? So tomorrow, if you are no more alive and they are coming for something important in this country, who will be there for them? And you are not related with any of your family members here. They now be saying, they told them that in front of their house, there is one tree that used to be a mango tree. There is one ridge in front of their house that they have cleared away since. And every one of us, part of the ihsan, or part of itais al-qurba, doing salah, carry your family, carry your children. No any witchcraft in any family house again. Gbogbo wọn ti jẹ rice nothing wọlé sí yẹsẹ. Bá ma susha jini kó wá kún wá. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ilé wa ilé tán bẹ̀rù wọn mọ pààyàn ni wọ́n gan ti dẹ̀rù jẹjẹ. Kujegida, kujede iyalifu. Let your children know your family. Let them know your origin. Torí jọ́ tẹ bá fẹ́ kú sájò. Kale zaman toce gawan ku ne za kai gida kamar su Yarbawa. Relate with your family members. Ba ma, you know witchcraft again. Everybody has wake up. Technology has taken over everything. Relate with your family. Today that you have strength, help people. If you help 10 people, at least Allah is not Allah is not heartless. Among those 10 people, one will remember you till you will die. One of them will remember you till you will die. Even if your children forsake you in future, right? One will still be remembering you. Even if you're going to send Rago, Akuya to you during Salah, you remember, this is the person that looked forward for me. But every one of you are saying, I don't want them to know in Dangote. Are you Fatima? Are you Aliko daughter? Help people. وَيَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنْكَرِ وَالْبَغْيِ يَعِظُكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. Allah is asking every one of us to distance ourselves away from anything that will cause instability in the society. All of this office, dirty office politics, we the believers should not be part of them. مَا لَا يَكُونُ فَلَا يَكُونُ بِإِلَّةٍ أَبَدًا مَا هُوَ كَائِنٌ سَيَكُونُ. Whatever will not be will never be. And whatever will be, if 1 million people are blocking your way of success, you will pass through them. They will widely open their eyes like this. You will pass through in between them. Wallahi, they will never see you. Let them be doing it. You just do your istikama or tasbih very well. Allah will fight your fight. Don't bring anybody down. Don't entice anybody. Let Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose you as the candidate. If you merit that position, they will come and look for you. If you don't merit it, you know all the big guys in the company, they will give you, but the resources you will use to man that position, Allah will deny you. But everybody says he's the one, but you are not the candidate of Allah. Stop dirty politics in offices. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala choose us as his candidate. اللهم اعز الاسلام والمسلمين وذل الشرك والمشركين ودمر اعداءك اعداء الدين وانصر عبادك الموحدين برحمتك يا ارحم الراحمين. اللهم ات نفوسنا تقواها وزكيها انت خير من زكاها انت وليها مولاها. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الارض ولا في السماء. رضيت بالله ربا وبالاسلام دينا وبي محمد نبيا صلى الله عليه وسلم. ولا حول ولا قوه الا بالله العلي العظيم.